Hi everyone, this is my first video on chess middle games. This is a game from the 5th of May 2014. It's again one of my own personal ones, and it will be about using the semi-open file in the middle game. So I was white, my opponent was Alan Hayward, who is I think about 180 ECF, maybe 175, which is about 1950, 2000 FIDE. So it started c4 and b6 was played, knight c3, bishop b7, d4 f5, knight f3, knight f6, and here I played g3, so aiming to challenge his bishop. And rather surprisingly, he just grabbed the knight very, very quickly, and I recaptured. Now, here, it may look like I've captured away from the center and I've got double pawns, but there is a way to use that to your advantage. Have a look at the next few moves. c5, d5, so gaining space. g6 was played to give his bishop something to move to. Bishop g2, bishop g7, castle kingside, and now I can release my bishop with f4. So what I've done really is I've used my extra f pawn to take control of e5, and the original one is just an extra defender of the king, so somewhat useful. And what I can do now is I can use the semi-open e-file to put pressure on black. So here, black doesn't want to play e6, because if I take and he takes, he'll have a backward pawn on e6, unable to move to e5. So he plays rook e8 to maybe push his pawn to e5 and then solve that problem. I play rook e1 to stop him, to clamp down. d6 was now played, so giving his knight on b8 somewhere to go. And here the e6 square is very tempting to use. So first I just want to get my bishop to a good square. So first I play queen c2, as you'll see in a moment, to guard my knight on c3 after b3 is played. If I hadn't done that, knight e4 could have been very unpleasant. So here, knight f8, so he's desperately trying to prepare e6, bishop b2. So now I've got my two bishops on excellent squares. My knight on c3 is hitting d5, so that's good. And I've got one rook on the semi-open file, pressurizing his weak pawn on e7. I'd prefer to have two rooks though. So after rook b8, a6, rook e2, rook b8, so getting his rook off the diagonal, because if e6, I would take on e6, and then his rook would be being hit by my bishop on g2. Perhaps rook a7 might have been stronger. But anyway, first I just want to make sure he can't break on the queen side. So I play a4. Queen d7 is now played to allow e6. And I double on the e-file. So in this middle game, all the important points are along the e-file and on the light squares, which is central to the English opening, and I'm sort of trying to do as best I can with the light squares. Thing is, when he moves the e-pawn, I'll take it with my pawn, and then d5 can be a useful square to put my knights and bishops. So I feel like I was holding all the cards here, and he doesn't have enough room to double up his rooks on the e-file. So after e6, I take, knight takes, and now knight d5. So the only good piece he really has, in my opinion, is the bishop on g7, which is guarding his king and hitting the dark squares. So I'm trying to challenge his bishop with my bishop on b2. And I was expecting knight takes d5 and then bishop takes d5, pinning his knight and practically winning on the spot. But he played knight d4, good move. I take. I don't like his knight having a cramping influence. Pawn takes. And here I did actually miss something. I played... what do you think I played here? So I'm trying to use the E file. How could I use it to put more pressure on black? Well, if you said rook takes rook, then 0 points. No, that would just sort of take away all my advantage by just liquidating the rooks. And then the E file isn't very useful to me anymore. I played rook e7, infiltrating. But there was an even stronger move than rook e7. Knight e7. And no matter where the king goes, I have bishop c6 next move, skewering the queen to the rook and winning the exchange. So I was a bit annoyed I missed that after the game. But anyway, rook e7, and he takes, and I take. So I've got a solid rook on e7. Rook on the 7th can be very, very strong. And now I double again on the e-file with a new threat of queen e6 check. He plays king h8 to avoid the check, and I play queen e6 anyway. So I've used the Middlegames strategy of having the e-file and controlling d5 to effectively put my pieces in such strong advanced positions that black is just being squashed to death here like a boa constrictor's prey. So he tries to exchange to get rid of a few of my good pieces, but the trouble is, in Middlegames especially, when there's opposite coloured bishops like there is now, I've got a light squared bishop, he has a dark squared bishop, the side with the initiative or the attack is almost certainly going to win. So he's almost given me more to attack with. He plays b5, trying to break, bishop c6, and he took. And here I was very tempted to play rook e8 check, but I felt that after rook e8, he could sacrifice his queen, and then when I take it, he could play c takes b3. So he'd have a rook and a pawn in quite a dangerous position. So I don't do that. I just play b takes c4. d3 was now played. And again, if I do that whole rook e8 idea, he could play d2 and then rook b1 is being threatened, and that's, again, very unpleasant. So I play rook d7, queen b6, queen e7. So I'm now threatening mate. Rook g8 was played, and rook takes d6. So I'm just keeping an eye on the pawn on d3. I don't want it to advance too far. Bishop d4 was now played to try and get his own attack against my pieces. But the thing is, I don't really care about bishop takes f2. After king g2, where's his next threat coming from? What's his idea? So I just play rook d7, threatening mate again. Bishop goes back to g7, defending the threat. Bishop d5, so I now just want to take the rook and threaten mate again. d2, ooh, very, very close to promoting, but bishop takes, and my rook is on the d file. Queen b1 check, king g2, queen b2, and after queen d8 he resigned, because I've got, I think on the computer it was plus 24 at one stage if I let it go on for ages, evaluating the position. Because here it's just completely won. I think I'm winning at least a bishop after this and the pawn on d2, and I'll be able to swap off as well. So I'll have a rook and bishop and a passed pawn on the c-file against nothing. So anyway, this game I felt was quite useful for using your middle game advantages. Just try and capitalize by using your pieces in the most effective way possible. And comments or questions, put them up, and I'll try and answer them. And like or subscribe. Hopefully, anyway. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.